It apparently gets worse every day in Nigeria. Here's the latest situational update. In all major headlines yesterday, that's Monday, the 9th of March, the Vice President of Nigeria, a man called Namadi Sambo, was held hostage by people, a lot of the papers classified as thugs, but other papers properly called terrorists. They held the Vice President of Nigeria hostage for 20 minutes. Now, you have to understand this picture of what's happening in Nigeria. The Vice President of Nigeria was, they are campaigning because the elections are going to be held on the 28th of March. And the Vice President went to Bayero University, Kano, and there these thugs who were part of his entourage came and disarmed the Vice President of Nigeria's security. And according to the papers, they were armed. We're talking about armed thugs, or rather terrorists, because anybody who can disarm the security of a vice president of a nation, doing that is terrorism. Anybody who has that capacity is a terrorist. So these terrorists, now this is the Vanguard. The Vanguard is a top paper in Nigeria. This is a government-friendly paper. I'm reading from the Vanguard what happened yesterday, Monday. And they said that the caption was, thugs held Sambo hostage in Kano. And it says that this thing happened like a well-rehearsed script, with some of the thugs in unison chorusing, Bamayi, Bamayi, meaning we are no longer with you. We are tired of the job. This is the job that the Vice President of Nigeria gives these terrorists to do. And it says that the drama began when dozens of heavily armed thugs who posed as loyal party men beat the security cover around the Vice President of Nigeria. We are talking about someone who is heavily, as you can expect, heavily protected. And you have these kind of terrorists who can beat his security and hold him hostage. There was a hostage situation in Nigeria yesterday. This is not yet in global headlines as usual. The world always ignores dangerous crisis in Nigeria. Now, when they did so, they said at this juncture, the People's Democratic Party stalwarts in the Vice President's entourage moved in and demanded to know from the boys why they chose to embarrass the Vice President. The Vanguard goes on to say the thugs explained their position, told the Vice President how they had risked their lives for the PDP. How they had risked. This is the Vanguard. Government paper. This is the one paper in Nigeria that's pro-certified. There are many of them that the government, one way or the other assists lucratively and lubricates to publish things that, are in favor of the government. This Vanguard is like the top of them. And here we are reading from the Vanguard where it says the thugs explained their position, told the president how they had risked their lives for the PDP in the state. Now, so many acts of hooliganism have happened in Kano. A bomb recently exploded in the central mosque that killed over 200 people in that mosque. So there have been so many terrorist activities. Opposition signposts have been vandalized. There's been so much terrorism, murder, death, and political campaign violence in that state. And these thugs explained that they had risked their lives for the PDP in the state, but that no one has paid them anything despite promises, that they've only been promised, they've not been paid their wages. This is the kind of drama that happens in Nigeria. It goes on to say, that the party officials were therefore directed by the president to attend to their needs and save the party embarrassment. Criminal terrorists held Nigeria's vice president hostage yesterday, and the vice president told party men, the vice president told them to attend to their needs and save the party public embarrassment. Who got them down? The Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Zone 1, Tambari, was the one who disarmed these terrorists. So the assistant police inspector, now we have police inspectors in Nigeria. The police inspector general of police is Suleiman Abba. Then we have this other funny guy. He is what's his title again? He is police minister of police affairs. This funny man called Jalili Adesion. These people have been making threats that they're going to stop political violence and all this kind of stuff. Rather, when you have terrorists kidnap, abduct, and hold hostage the vice president of Nigeria, the police resolve it. And the last paragraph goes, or the last sentence goes, the thugs later rejoined the vice president's convoy and headed to other areas of engagement in the city. They rejoined the people who disarmed the security of the vice president of Nigeria. Thugs who said they've been risking their lives doing unscrupulous activities in the state, in a most populous northern state and one of the most populous states in Nigeria, orchestrating acts of terror because these are violent thugs armed. And then after being disarmed or told to step down by the Nigerian police in charge at the time, Inspector General, Assistant Inspector General of Police, the thugs were settled financially. The terrorists were paid and continued to follow our vice president around. This is not the only incident. You see, the reason why this is so important is these are Boko Haram. Vice President Namadi Sambo is a confirmed founder and sponsor of Boko Haram. This is Boko Haram. The foundation of Boko Haram and MEND is no different from this. The process by which this happens is political thuggery. A lot of these people are established as political thugs, and then they continue being political thugs. Boko Haram remains political thugs. Their mission is political. They've continued to do political bombings all across the country. Well, not across the country, only in the north. Because their target, they've been employed to destroy the north. So they've never crossed to the south. I keep repeating this because this is very significant. These are political thugs. Terrorists are political thugs. Okay, terrorism it's all about politics. And this is this man, Namadi Sambo, once again, in the face of the public, using these terrorists to continue paying them in public, the police watching them, and these terrorists following him around armed. We have other records of Namadi Sambo. We have a lot of documents on Namadi Sambo. This is not the first time. Namadi Sambo, the vice president, because part of the reason why we have interest on Namadi Sambo is Nigeria's former national security advisor. His name is, he's late now, Andrew Azazi. Andrew Azazi was in the office that knows like the origin of Boko Haram, because he's the national security advisor. So nobody can understand the origin of Boko Haram more than the national security advisor. And from his office, he said in a speech in December, in the middle of 2013, he said that it was PDP, which is the party of Namadi Sambo, that PDP, the People's Democratic Ruling Party, the party of President Goodluck Jonathan, that they are behind the evolution of Boko Haram. Now, of course, PDP was very angry. He got in trouble for this. He was fired. President Jonathan fired him. And by the end of that year, he was killed in a helicopter accident. So since then, and before then, we've been looking at these people. Because the chairman of the People's Democratic Party, former chairman, bedmate of President Jonathan, a man called Bamanga Tukur always used to say, on record that Boko Haram were fighting for justice, that Boko Haram is another name for justice. Now, when people were begging the president of Nigeria to report to, allow the United States list Boko Haram as an FTO, foreign terrorist organization, and we're telling him that, he should fight them seriously and crush them like Yaradua, his predecessor, crush them. Yaradua crushed them like he didn't play around with them. So when people were telling him crush them like Yaradua, the president of Nigeria, Goodluck Jonathan, said that I'm dealing with them with kid gloves. They are my siblings. So everybody has focused on this government that obviously Boko Haram pays the Goodluck Jonathan government. They use these terrorists to blackmail, accuse opposition, destroy people. So to make money, to embezzle billions of dollars, security vote from the budget. So Boko Haram terror, as well as the terror helping them to destroy a part of Nigeria that, they don't care about, the Northeast and in the North. These people don't care about this. It's just about business to make money. It's all about making money and, such interest. So we've been watching these people and their activities for a long time. Namadi Sambo in 2012, when Senator Ndume from Borno, Boko Haram territory, was accused and arrested of work with Boko Haram, he implicated two people, Namadi Sambo and Adoke, Attorney General of the nation, a very, very mischievous personality. Mohammed Adoke is the Attorney General. And the SSS didn't interrogate them. They implicated them that these people had Boko Haram's phone numbers. This is in 2012. This is from Vanguard. Boko Haram, why Sambo, Adoke were not interrogated. They were not even interrogated. This is the same Namadi Sambo we are talking about. And in this report, it says that why Attorney General of the Federation, Justice Mohammed Bello Adoke, and Namadi Sambo were not interrogated. Izzy, who yesterday testified as second prosecution witness, said that Sambo and Adoke were alleged to have had contacts with the sect. However, instead of inviting them for questioning, as we did in the case of Ndume, the service decided to investigate the claim using our statecraft. What is statecraft? This is what the Nigerian Security Services said. They said they investigated Namadi Sambo and Attorney General Adoke using statecraft, like witchcraft. So these people have been linked to Boko Haram terror in the past. These are the point agents that the government uses with Boko Haram terrorists to finance them, for funding, for stuff like that. We have seen it again. We have seen how these terrorists come and hold our vice president hostage and demand money, and are paid money. And Nigeria's police watch. This is what is happening in Nigeria. This is serious. We're going to be continuing on this case. This is Dr. Peregrino Brima for ENDS, Every Nigerian Do Something. We're going to be following up on this case because these kind of things cannot keep happening. This is not a banana baboon republic. We are human beings here, and we understand that there are certain laws and regulations that societies operate upon. Over 100,000 people have died and 3 million plus have been displaced, and billions in property and business and economic losses have happened in the Northeast because of these political thugs, aka terrorists. And this has to stop.